Hi, welcome to Tuesday Kitchen. It's your girl Shelly, and I'm back at it. So I'm in the kitchen. I'm browning my meat. I got my sauces. I got my onions. I got my butter. I got my cheese, my noodles, and all my seasonings. Yes, I am making my favorite and my most famous baked spaghetti. And I do use organic sauces. 4 cheese. I use tomato basil. And I also use roasted garlic. And I also have my red peppers, my onions, my butter. I put them all in a pot and I boil it until it's nice and soft. And I add it with my meat. All right, Tuesday Kitchen. Stay tuned and I'm going to give you all the details how you can make your family. It's my famous baked spaghetti. Tuesday Kitchen. All right, so I got to chop up these onions so I can put in my pot and boil them so they can be nice and soft. I don't want no chunky onions when you bite into your spaghetti. The onions, the vegetables have to always be nice and soft. Yes, I know I'm using the wrong knife. I'm using my fillet knife, but I like this knife because it makes my vegetables nice and tiny. That's how I like it, quick and fast. Yes. Pouring a bottle of water, spring water, into the pan so we can boil the vegetables. And I add a little butter. Remember I told y'all, butter y'all need is salted sweet cream butter. Salted sweet cream. That's all the flavors. Not no fake butter. No, I can't believe this butter. None of that kind of butter. Real butter. You want real butter. And that's what we use. So I'm going to chop the little pieces and put in my pot. See? And in the pot, I'm going to add some of my marinated red peppers. My marinated red peppers. I add for my spaghetti. Can't show you who's by, but it's what you need to purchase. Alright, I'll add them in here. Not a lot, just enough. Blend it. And then we're going to add onions and the red peppers. All of it is nice and blended. And we're going to put it on the stove. Alright, got that boiling. There's that. See the fire on it. And we got the meat brown. Alright, stay tuned so you can finish and get the pot boiling for the noodles. Tuesday Kitchen, my famous baked spaghetti. Hold for more details. Okay, so you see how I drain my noodles from the pot. I got the meat in the strainer. Make sure all the grease is off of it. And this is the noodles from the pot. Drain those. Let the water run off. And then we're gonna mix both together and add the sauce and the seasoning. Mix it together, and we're gonna put it in our pan and bake. Hold for 1 second for more details. Don't forget, we got the vegetables cooking. We get boiling the vegetables, the onions and the peppers, so they can be soft when we mix it all together. Okay, so once after I drain the meat, I put it back in the skillet. Yes, back in the skillet. And I add my sauce. I season my meat with the sauce and let it simmer. Now my baked spaghetti is not an item that I'll serve on the food truck. This is something I make at home. And everybody's wondering why did I put the meat and the sauce together and skillet, because I want flavor. So that's what I do when I simmer. Then I add on my seasoning. And what are the seasonings? You know you gotta wait for the cookbook, baby. When the cookbook comes through, you're gonna know all them secret seasonings. Make this baked spaghetti fantastic. But one main seasoning you gotta use for spaghetti, bam, oregano. You gotta use oregano with the spaghetti. And use some good oregano. Yes, oregano, organic. And of course, you gotta always use a little salt. And the kind of salt I always use is sea salt, of course. It'll simmer all down. That's how we like it. And I gave you two seasons from the recipe that's in the cookbook. So you can see that spaghetti and that skillet simmering with the meat and the sauce already added. Keep it on low for 10 minutes. Then we're going to transfer into another pot, mix our spaghetti, and then we're going to put it in the baking dish. Okay, so get your glass dish, and we're going to butter this bad boy so we can put the spaghetti in the oven. See how I buttered it up? Yes, yes, yes. And I add a little garlic to the bottom. All right, now we're going to put that garlic on the bottom. See the garlic and sprinkle it all on the bottom of the pan. All right, with the butter. Now we're going to add our spaghetti. All right, I add the vegetables. Let's add the noodles. Now we're going to add the noodles and the vegetables within the sauce, mix it together, and pour it in the dish. So I chop up the noodles. I don't want to be so long and stringy with the vegetables. And I use thin spaghetti noodles, not the thick ones. I always use thin. You can see it's the thin spaghetti noodles.